Sponsored by EA. Hey everyone, it's AlluringSimmer here, back with another speed build, and today we are working on lilsimsie's shell challenge. So if you don't know what a shell challenge is already, basically the premise or the basic idea of what you need to do is you download a shell from the gallery, and then you have to basically turn that shell into some sort of thing. It could be essentially whatever you want, but you can't add to the exterior walls and you can't change the exterior walls. So all the exterior walls need to stay the same. You can add porches, you can add balconies, you can like lift it up and add a foundation, you can make the walls taller, but you can't change the actual shell itself. So I think I was able to accomplish this goal because I did not change the walls. We did add a little balcony area, and when I went into this initially, my goal was to do like an apartment vibe. And the reason why is I really wanted to have like a split balcony and have like a small little area for both sides, but you can see when I tried to like split it in half right across with the way that I wanted the building to face, it just wouldn't have worked because of the fact that there wasn't enough space on both sides. So I ended up furnishing it like a regular house. It's just for one family. However, I will mention that I did keep some elements of the like apartment vibe for the build. So the staircase on the outside kind of looks adjacent to a fire escape. That was kind of the look I was going for. Like, I don't know, maybe it was like an older apartment that was like converted into a home. It wasn't big enough to like work as an apartment anymore. I don't know. There's no real storyline to it. I just wanted it to look like an apartment. That was just the aesthetic that I wanted to go for. So I really like how it turned out once it was all done and I finally figured out like how I wanted the exterior to look. And then as for the interior, when I initially started, I didn't really have like a plan. I kind of took it room by room, which usually for a build, I'll have like an idea of like the overall, I don't know, look that I want to go for, exactly what I want to do for like the build or what kind of Sims I'd have in mind for living here. When I did this build, I kind of just like was like, we're going to make a house. I want it to look like an apartment, and then we're just going to build it room by room and see what happens. I did know for sure as soon as I saw this build that that one little area that I designated as a garage, I knew that I wanted it to be a garage from the beginning. And that really inspired me to use the new kit that we got, the restoration workshop kit, which you'll see later on. And then after that, I ended up using like one kit for every single room, like unintentionally. And I'll get into that once we get to some of those rooms. But it was really fun, like getting to use a lot of the kit items in a build, because a lot of the newer kits, since I haven't been doing any builds other than like the Love Island Villa currently, I haven't really gotten to use it as much as I would like to. Like I've seen all the items, but I haven't been able to like actually use it into like in a build until now. So it was really fun to add those in and put it all together and see how it looked in the end. And then here with the garage, I really wanted to have like the two different garage door types, but when I looked at it later on, the one that's on the interior was like peeking into the upper level, so I had to replace it with the same as the garage that's on the outside. And that garage is from City Living. I really wish that we had some more garage door options. I think I saw in a little Simsy video, it might have been like a VOD, where there's like a pre-made room that has like doors that they use to make it look kind of like garage doors, but I don't feel like it's the same. Like I need like garage doors other than these ones. Like I need like the classic, I don't know, ones that have like the windows going across the top, or just like some more plain ones. I just feel like these ones feel very industrial. They did work well for this build since I was going for like an apartment like aesthetic, but if I wasn't, then I feel like those wouldn't fit for the build that I was trying to do. Now this build, I feel like I built it very interestingly, and by that I mean like normally when I do a build, I feel like I start with the interior. I may do like the front area first. But usually I do more interior and then work my way out. But this time I did the exterior and like worked my way in. I did leave the backyard area until like later on, but I was surprised with how much like landscaping I did in the beginning. And like once I started, it was easy to just keep going. I really liked how I did like the little garden area at the side. I knew that I wanted to have like the curved um like stone going around it, so I used like the curved like foundation thing to do that, and it turned out really nice. I was going to do the stone on this side as well, and you can see that I do have it there, but eventually I just removed it because I feel like since I can't add the fencing like near the edge of the lot, it just didn't look right. So I just kept the little pool lights that I had as like a trim for the pathway. And now here's where I started working with that staircase. I cut out like half of me, messing around with that to make it look good. If you guys saw the entire process, it probably took me like 5 to 10 minutes total, if not longer, just to get the staircase in the way, like the shape that I wanted. I'm still so bad with like adjusting the staircases to make those like fancy ones, like, so that's the best I could do, and I think it turned out decent. Now we're moving on to the garage area, which is one of my favorite rooms in the house, surprisingly. I think this new kit has kind of, or just the kits in general, have kind of like restored my ability to do certain types of rooms, or like my desire to. Like, I feel like normally I would avoid doing like a garage that actually looks like a garage, especially since we don't have cars. But I feel like with this kit, it made me want to build one, and it was so fun like putting all the items in there. And this is actually what created like the storyline for the rest of the rooms afterwards. Because once I did this room, I was like, I kind of have this like vision in my mind of like a single dad who's like taking care of his two daughters, and he likes to build all of his stuff for himself. He also does like art. So you'll notice like later on I have a lot of like easels and paint and stuff around the house to kind of show that like their dad is an artist. There's also like a lot of eccentric paintings on the wall, like paintings and stuff that I wouldn't normally use. And I feel like the stuff from the kits is what inspired me to want to do that in the first place. So that was really fun. I feel like the garage itself is kind of simple. Like there's not like too much going on there, and it's really pretty much just the restoration workshop kit and then a few other items like mixed in there. But I really like how it turned out, and I haven't play tested this house, I will be honest, but I'm like 99% sure that most of it is probably functional. And I really hope that it is. If you download this lot, let me know. My gallery ID is AlluringSimmer. It's in the description below, spelled the same way as my username. But if you guys end up downloading this lot and using it for yourself, let me know if everything works. And maybe by that time I will have play tested it for myself to double check. But this is where I mean like it started getting into like kit central, because in this room I used the Comfy Gamer kit, which was like a collaboration with lilsimsie, which I think is kind of ironic. I don't know if that's the right word, but because I was doing the lilsimsie shell. But I really like how this office turned out. I feel like the space is so cute. I feel like this doesn't really fit the storyline that I had for the house, but I imagine that maybe this is like his teen daughter's like office space, and maybe he uses it too. Like, I feel like it's more so like not really catered to the original aesthetic that I was going for, but it was just too cute. I had to do it. It looks adorable and I love it. I really like the like soft colors in this room because I was trying to use a lot of like the darker wood. I have this thing where like no matter how hard I try to like use the dark wood swatches, I always end up like turning back and using like the light wood swatch somewhere, and then the whole house ends up flipping to just light wood swatches. I think it's partially because I find it hard to like match the dark wood swatches. Like I feel like there's not a lot of dark wood swatches that match like stuff from other packs or other kits, but I feel like the light wood swatches tend to stay like the same throughout the various packs, so somehow it's easier to like match them together. I don't know if what I'm saying makes sense, but hopefully it does. But yeah, I was really happy with how this room turned out. And then I added like a little stand with like tea, and like this was also partially because I wanted to use that little tea clutter thing that we got with the kitchen clutter kit. I thought that was so cute. And I was like, I need to have this in here. So I'm like, I'm going to have a whole little tea area in the office and set it up with like little cookies. And then I think I put a painting or something up behind it as well. And I just really love how this room turned out. Um, Again, I don't feel like this would be like the dad's office, so like maybe we can throw my storyline away. But I do still have the vibe that like at least one of the parents, if not both, are like kind of artistic, and they wanted to go for like a more creative style with the rooms. That's why with like this room I decided to add the floral accent wall. I thought it was a little bit much to do it for every single wall just because of the paintings and like the clutter that was on the wall. I just didn't want it to be like too much. But I really like the little accent with the florals. I feel like it makes that one wall look a little bit more interesting since there's not as much going on over there. And now we are moving on to the washroom, or like the little powder room sort of area. I feel like the bathrooms were really fun to do because I used the new sleek bathroom kit. And again, the items recently have just been eating. I don't know. It may be a mixture of the fact that a lot of them are collaborations with like CC creators that I already like use their content and love, and also the fact that I just feel like the packs in general have just been getting better and better. But I was really happy with how this bathroom turned out. Like, I think it's so cute. I love it so much. And I honestly want a bathroom, maybe not exactly like this, because I feel like my design skills, nothing to do with the items themselves, but the way that I designed it could have been a lot better. But I do like the aesthetic of these items so much. And I really love, I to be fair, I do love how it turned out. Um, Something that I want to mention before we continue with the build, or as the build continues, is I do have some fun little things that you guys can participate in if you are fans of The Sims. You're fans of creating Sims. Um, I have two challenges going on right now. I have one which is a Sims 4 fashion show for the summer. And if you'd like to participate, the hashtag is AlluringStrut. You can find all the details for the fashion show, including the themes, the rules, how to participate at AlluringSimmer.com/runway. That's AlluringSimmer.com/runway. I'll have a link to my website in the description. And I also have another challenge going on. I was initially going to do this in June, and some of my plans got pushed back because I was not feeling the greatest this week. So I'm actually going to be doing Love is Blind in The Sims. I was going to do it in June, like late June after the fashion show, but I'm going to be pushing it to July when we're going to start. And the way that I want to do it is I'm going to be streaming like the episodes, essentially streaming like the setup. I've already streamed like me working on the build, so if you want to go back and watch me like building the pods for Love is Blind, then you can see that already on my YouTube channel under the live tab. I'll also be creating a playlist for all the Love is Blind videos, so definitely be on the lookout for that. But if you'd like to make a sim, more specifically a male sim, I'm looking for more male sims for the challenge, then you can use the hashtag AlluringLIB on the gallery when uploading a male sim. And something that I ask is to include like preferences, like their romance styles, all the things that came with Love Struck, if you have that pack. And if you don't have that pack, I will just add the extra details if needed. But I really want to have like very like in-depth sims in terms of like preferences and stuff like that, but not too much on like the physical aspects, since again we're going to be doing Love is Blind, and I want to make it so that the sims are also not like reacting to like physical attributes, if that makes sense. If you want to see more details about that, you can go to AlluringSimmer.com/blog and go to my first blog post. that will give you the details of like the things I'd like you to include. I've also posted like a poster on my Instagram, so definitely check those out if you haven't already. And also be sure to be on my Twitch channel. I stream almost every single day, twitch.tv/AlluringSimmer. And that is usually where I give like live updates about what's going on. And again, on my website, I do have the blog where I try to post updates of like how things are going with that challenge as well. And then the last thing that I'm doing right now, before we get into either of those things, is I've been working on the Love Island villa for my friend who's going to be doing Love Island in The Sims 4. If you guys don't already know them, their name is Holy Slothers on Twitch. And I have been working on this villa pretty much the entire month. And if you haven't already seen the build, then definitely check it out. I have a playlist for that as well. And another reason why I'm really pushing for you guys to check out these videos is because I'm hoping to get to the YouTube partner program. And basically, in order to do that, I need a lot more watch hours. So what that means is if you are liking the content that you're seeing, consider to watch videos all the way through. Consider to watch back past VODs. Consider to watch again, this video all the way through. I'd greatly appreciate if you did, because it does help me with that push for the YouTube partner program. And what that means is monetization for my channel, which is greatly appreciated, because that means just by you guys watching, you don't have to do anything more than that. It helps me financially, and I greatly appreciate it. But with all that said, we are going to get back into the build. I feel like a lot has happened as we were chatting about those things. But basically I finished up the little front entryway and the kitchen. I feel like these two areas of the build were like the least eccentric. And I feel like I didn't really do as much with them. And I think as soon as I did the living room was when the build started to like really get into that like artsy aesthetic that I was talking about. And that's simply because I decided to, I don't know, try and use some items that I don't normally use. I don't know why I'm blanking on the name of this kit right now that I used here, but I really like it. And I like how that area turned out. I use a lot of the stuff from like the artist kit to add like, again, the artsy aesthetic. I wanted to show that there is someone who's like very creative that lives in this house. I also made the choice to not have a TV in the living room. And I feel like that's probably not that bold of a choice, but normally I think with almost every single build that I do, especially when it's like a family home, I always put a TV in the living room. I think that's just because like that's what I'm used to. But I feel like with this home, I really wanted to give the idea that like a lot of the Sims that live here are just like really creative. They don't really care about too much about like watching TV. It's more so about like creating their own things. So I think, I don't remember if I added an instrument, but there's a lot of like art related things throughout the house, like paint, the artist tablet, the canvas, what is it, the easel, I couldn't think of the word. And then the only real room that has like electronics, I think I may have added one in their personal bedroom. I can't remember now, but I obviously have the computer in the office. But what I do like about that is I'm pretty sure that room is the only room with a computer. And the other reason why I want to do that is because I know how Sims are in the game, and they love to be on the computer all day, every day. They love to have people come over and be on their computer. And I know that we can lock the computers now, but I'm going to be honest, I literally always forget about that feature. So then I have Sims coming in for the welcome wagon, and then they end up on my Sims laptop. And I'm like, hello, I just met you. And this is crazy. You're on my laptop, so get off, maybe. Anyway, that was really bad, but it's okay. I just find it so frustrating when, like, I'm, like, working so hard to put their house together, and then all of a sudden people want to be on their computer, especially when I'm like, I need them to do work right now. Like, I need them to be working. I need them to get a job. I need them to use their computer. This is the only computer they have, and they have no more money. And I have a random Sim on it trying to like play video games or something. But yeah, Anyway, that was just my little rant about electronics in The Sims 4 specifically. So I decided no TV in the living room. I want them to find their fun through other creative outlets. This washroom was really fun to do. I feel like adding that shelf made it so that there was a lot of space to add more clutter. And as I said before, this build in general is just very kit heavy. So I wanted to use clutter from like every single kit that I have, and I feel like I pretty much did that. I was using the filter a lot as well to like find specific items, because I would have like a vision of like what I needed in that room. I'm like, okay, I need this thing from this kit. And then once I was in that filter, like looking for those items, I was like, you know what? I actually want to use this and this and this and this. And honestly, I really recommend doing this, like using the filters more, filtering by color, filtering by pack, filtering out your custom content, filtering in only your custom content, because I feel like it makes it easier to like see things. I feel like with the game, especially now because I have like all the DLC, like trying to find specific items can be a little bit harder when you're like trying to sift through everything, especially like clutter items. Um so I feel like sorting by the kit helps me like not only just be able to find items, but also use items that I wouldn't normally use because I don't even see them or I don't remember that they exist. Um, so yeah, filter, filter, filter. That's my advice for everyone. Um, but yeah, doing this room was really fun as well. I feel like each room has like its own color palette. And again, this was kind of another room where I was like, initially I went in with like the darker aesthetic and then I ended up using more lighter wood. And I feel like I had this idea of it being like a single dad with two daughters, but I feel like that's not really the vibe of the build in the end. But I do really have the like idea of like the dad being like very artsy, being an architect, being some sort of like builder, creative, and basically putting together a lot of the stuff that they have in their house. That was kind of what I wanted to go for with this build, and I hope that it's reflected with what you see here. So I decided to give them a walk-in closet, which, despite the fact that what I initially wanted to do was like make this like an apartment and have two separate like homes essentially, I felt like the build wasn't big enough for me to do that on the interior. I still feel like it was a pretty big interior to work with. So there was a lot of stuff that I was able to add, and I feel like because of all the little like turns in the with the walls, I don't know what I'm trying to say, all the angles that we have, there was a lot of like little nooks to add different types of rooms. So with the bedroom, they have their ensuite and the walk-in closet. And then with the other bedrooms, they have their own, like, I think there's like one shared bathroom and then the bedroom and then like a nursery. I also just realized technically it's not an ensuite because you have to like leave the bedroom to get into the bathroom, which was not really my intention, but I'm only noticing it now. So it is what it is. It is still kind of their ensuite. It's just not directly connected to the bedroom. So that's just how it's going to be. And then for the exterior, like balcony area, I didn't want to put like too much out there because I don't know why. Whenever I do a balcony, I'm like, I know there's lots of room to like add clutter, but in my mind, I'm like, okay, they need room to stand, because in real life, like you'd want space to just stand and like look over a balcony and look out, and then I'll have like a space to sit, and then I have a plant. Like that's every single balcony: a space to sit, a space to stand, and a plant, and then we're good to go. Because honestly, you don't want it to be like too cluttered. You can have more than one plant. I feel like multiple plants could be cute too. You could also have like a little, I don't know, a little side table or something. But I feel like balconies are not rooms to me. Like I don't see them as rooms, so they're kind of just like extra space that need a little something there. So now for this room, you can see I already furnished the master bedroom. I didn't really do too much with that. I feel like the other parts of the house were supposed to show like the creative aspect of it, while I feel like the bedroom is more like minimalistic, kind of just have like the basic necessities, because I feel like the other rooms show more of the their self-expression, if that makes sense. But as for the like nursery or toddler room, I really love how this room turned out. I think it was so cute. And I loved adding like all the little clutter things in there, like the little paintings and the little toys. I even used the alarm clock thing from the Cozy Gamer kit. And I use a lot of the, is it called the Storybook Nursery kit? I use a lot of that as well. But again, I think it's also been a thing where like I'll play something from a kit or a pack and I'm just like, well, the best things that will go with it are the stuff that are also from that like pack or kit. So then I'll just use more items from that by just using the filter. Now, I honestly hate furnishing hallway spaces. So this little area took me like so long to do before I finally sort of just like gave up and I'm just like, you know what? It is what it is. We got a couch, we got a plant. And then I added some like yarn clutter. I imagine like either the daughter or like the mom probably does like knitting or crochet. And I wanted to add some of their stuff so they kind of have their own little nook as well. And this is what I mean, where it's like, I don't feel like every single room screams like, I'm an artist, but I wanted it to kind of be shown in like little pieces throughout the house that like, these are like really creative Sims and they all have like their own little hobbies that they like to do. And again, avoiding like electronics because I feel like it's a really easy way to get your Sims to like have fun in the game. Like just have them watch TV, have them go on their computer. But I wanted to kind of have more of a focus on like the creative hobbies that your Sims can do to like earn fun. I don't know if that's the best way to say that, but you know what I mean. And then obviously I was doing like a teen bedroom here. So I used a lot of high school years. I used a lot of swatches of things that I wouldn't normally use. I think that was my other like thing while working on this build is like challenging myself, like even with some of the items that I do normally use, like using a swatch of it that I've never used before, because I feel like it was really fun kind of discovering like the different swatches that we have for things, and also just like, I don't know, using stuff in different ways. I do realize that they have a computer in here as well, so I guess technically there's two. Obviously the toddler room doesn't have one and neither does the master bedroom, and I don't think I put a TV in there either. But it's okay. They're a teenager. They can have a little tablet and a computer. It's fine. I mostly put it because it matched the color palette so well. So I just thought it was too cute. I had to have it. And I also added a little outdoor like lounge area on the balcony. I wanted to keep it again simple. What did I say? We got a chair, we got a plant. This time we also have a little table and a sculpture, but you need a place to sit, you need a place to stand. So we got the little area over there for them to sit, and then we have this area over here so they can stand and hang out. And I ended up changing the flooring because as much as like it could work to have like the concrete sort of vibe, I just felt like it was too industrial. I didn't like how it looked. It didn't feel like cozy. And now we're working on the backyard area. This was like the final part that I worked on. I think it really helped that I did most of the landscaping at the beginning, because once I get to the end of a build, I do not want to landscape. I do not want to place a single plant, a single tree. I don't want to do any of that. I don't even want to do it to begin with. And once I'm done with like the interior, I'm pretty much done with the build. Like I was really like, I don't even want to furnish this back area, but I did it and I'm proud of myself for doing it. I put a giant pool so I didn't have to furnish half of it, and I also shrunk the fence of the backyard so like half of the lot is not even being used. Obviously if you do decide to use this build for yourself, maybe it's possible to place it on a smaller lot, and it's also possible to just expand the backyard later if you want to. But really I was just like, whatever's in the fence is part of their property. Everything else we can just pretend they don't own it. It's fine. And it's not like there's another house behind them that would like make it look too off. But yeah, that's it for the build. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Stick around until the end so you can see screenshots of the final product. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Follow me on Twitch as well as all my other platforms, and I will see you all in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.